Welcome back to A Clan a Day podcast, brought to you by bagtownclans.com. I'm your host, Colin MacDonald. Today, we're exploring the compelling history of Clan Johnston, a name that resonates with the rugged and rebellious spirit of Scotland's borderlands. The story of Clan Johnstone is one of division and unity, of fierce battles and strategic alliances, of loyalty and treachery. This is a tale deeply entwined with the blood-soaked history of the Scottish borders, where survival often depended on strength, cunning, and an unyielding sense of clan loyalty. Clan Johnstone is unique in that it encompasses at least two distinct groups: the Johnstones of Annandale in Dumfries and Galloway, and the Johnstons of Caskieben in Aberdeenshire. There are also those who bear the Johnston name but don't fit neatly into either group, such as those who derived their surname from places like St. Johnstown, the former name of Perth, or other locales named Johnston or Johnstone. This diversity reflects the widespread influence of the name and the varying origins of those who bear it. Now, a word on pronunciation and spelling. In the UK, the name is generally pronounced Johnston, regardless of whether it ends with an E or not. However, across the pond in North America, a distinction often emerges, with Johnstone pronounced as Johnstone and Johnston as Johnston, suggesting two different names. Interestingly, the current chief of the clan spells his name Johnstone, while the head of the House of Johnston of Caskieben opts for Johnston. Despite these variations, both spellings are historically accurate and used interchangeably within the clan, particularly among those from Annandale. The origins of Clan Johnstone date back to the late 12th century, with the first known Johnstone being Gilbert, son of John, who was granted land in Annandale by William Bruce, Lord of Annandale, between 1195 and 1214. Gilbert was soon knighted and became known as Sir Gilbert de Johnston. From these modest beginnings, the Johnstones of Annandale grew in power and influence, eventually establishing themselves as one of the most formidable families on the Scottish borders. The Johnstones were quintessential border reivers, the infamous raiders of the Anglo-Scottish borderlands. Living in a brutal frontier zone where survival often depended on the strength of your sword arm, the Johnstones were expert horsemen, clad in steel bonnets and leather jacks, armed with lances, swords, and pistols. Their world was one of constant warfare, where raiding was a way of life. The Johnstones excelled in this harsh environment, becoming notorious for their daring raids into England and their fierce defence of their own lands. Their principal stronghold was Lockwood Tower, an imposing L-shaped fortress surrounded by forest and marsh. The tower's grim appearance led King James V to remark, "He who built it must have been a knave in his heart." Indeed, the Johnstones' reputation was one of cunning and ferocity, qualities necessary for survival in the lawless borderlands. A monument at the Devil's Beef Tub, a vast hollow near the source of the Annan River, commemorates the Johnstones' use of the area to hide cattle stolen in their predatory raids. The Johnstones rose to prominence by assisting the Scottish Crown in quelling the rebellion of the Black Douglases in 1455. For their loyalty and military prowess, they were rewarded with lands previously held by the Douglases, further solidifying their power in the region. However, the clan's most infamous conflict was their long-standing feud with the Maxwells, another powerful border family. The climax of this feud came on December 6, 1593, at the Battle of Dryfe Sands. Lord Maxwell, seeking to crush the Johnstones once and for all, led a force of 2,000 men into Annandale. Sir James Johnstone, the clan chief, mustered around 800 men and lured the Maxwells into a trap. The ensuing battle was a brutal affair, with the Johnstones emerging victorious, slaughtering many of the Maxwells and taking grisly trophies. The battle left a deep scar on the Maxwell-Johnstone relations, culminating in the assassination of Sir James Johnstone by a Maxwell in 1608, an act of treachery that led to Maxwell's execution. As the 17th century unfolded, the Johnstones' fortunes shifted with the political tides. James Johnstone, the chief of the clan, was created Lord Johnstone of Lochwood in 1633 and later the Earl of Hartfell. His son, also named James, played a crucial role during the turbulent wars of the Three Kingdoms, supporting the royalist cause under Montrose. Despite being captured and facing significant hardships, the family's loyalty was rewarded with the creation of the Earldom of Annandale and Hartfell. The Johnstones of Caskieben, a separate branch located in Aberdeenshire, also carved out a significant legacy. Their head, Sir George Johnstone, was created a baronet of Nova Scotia in 1626, and his descendants continued to play important roles in Scottish history, including fighting at the Battle of the Boyne in 1690. By the 18th century, the Johnstones reached the pinnacle of their power when William Johnstone, the second Earl of Annandale and Hartfell, was elevated to the rank of Marquis of Annandale in 1701. However, the direct line of the Marquises ended in 1792, leading to a long period during which the titles remained dormant. It wasn't until 1983 that the Lord Lion King of Arms officially recognised Major Percy Wentworth Hope Johnston as chief of Clan Johnstone. This marked the revival of the clan's leadership after nearly 2 centuries. Today, his son, Patrick Andrew Wentworth Hope Johnston, holds the titles of 11th Earl of Annandale and Hartfell and Chief of Clan Johnstone, continuing the proud legacy of this resilient border clan. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of Clan Johnstone. Tune in tomorrow for another episode of A Clan a Day podcast. I'm Colin MacDonald, and as always, go en Irie and Bothar Leet.